Nation, and welcome back to the Recruiting Trail. This is episode 33, Alabama Crimson Tide. We are revisiting them. We hit them in one of our first Recruiting Trail episodes. We're going to go into a little bit more detail today. Thank you to Sideline Sports Network, as always, for the platform. If you want some merch like this hoodie here, like that t-shirt over there, like that hat, hold up, this hat, it's all at totempolenation.com. You can go there, get whatever merch you want. And let me preface this before we start. I've been doing this before, the last few episodes because some comments, people have different evaluations of players. All of my data is coming from 24/7 Sports. So, like I've said in other videos, I'm inviting comments of, guys from ESPN, Rivals, On3, all those other recruiting services. Definitely leave it in the comments if you guys have a commit, a target, whatever that you want to see highlighted that maybe I didn't get to because he wasn't in, that ranking on 24/7. So that being said, let's get into Bama.
All right, before you get started, Alabama right now in the recruiting is ranked number 4. They have 20 total commits. They got 2 5-stars, 12 4-stars, and 6 3-stars. It's the University of Alabama head coach Nick Saban. Go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so obviously Alabama always has a line of great players at every position. So I'm going to go over depth chart notes. And typically when I do this, it's like highlighting areas of need, like immediate needs, that type of thing. That's obviously not the case for Alabama in this. So I'm going to go over positions that look a little bit thinner than others. They could use some help, but in no way, shape, or form am I saying that these, positions need help immediately. So we're going to start, obviously the QB room is fine. Loaded with depth behind Milroe, who will most likely be staying for at least another year, and they have a 5-star behind him as well. The running back room, running backs Jace McClellan and Roydale Williams will both most likely be in the NFL next year, but they do have plenty of depth behind him in that position. Tight end room also has plenty of depth, won't be losing too much production. Wide receiver room is most likely losing Jermaine Burton to the NFL, but there's plenty of depth in that room as well. But as we've said throughout this year, they're kind of missing that one standout guy who, it could be either any of these guys. They're all top touted talents for a reason. So anyone could step up, including, possible commits that they have. The O-line is made up of a mixture of youth and experience. It obviously hasn't played up to the Bama standard in a few games this year. So losing J.C. Latham and then Seth McLaughlin adds need of improvement there as well. But, SEC and Big Ten alike, the O-line, D-line is really the bread and butter. That's where, you make your money. That's where you win games. And so we've seen in a few games this year where the O-line wasn't looking like Bama 100%. So like I said, it's going to be something that they want to put some emphasis on. The D-line is losing 3 players. Chris Braswell, who's a linebacker and an edge. Justin Boygday, and Tim Smith. The room is young behind them, but they're losing those 3. One of them, and Chris, definitely to the NFL. The other 2 we'll see. But, a little bit of an emphasis there would be nice. The linebacker room, losing 2 guys to the draft in Tresman Marshall and Dallas Turner. They're a little bit older of a room than the D-line, so that's definitely going to be something that, you would look for Nick Saban to emphasize. And then DBs, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Malachi Moore, they will be getting drafted. And Jalen Key is a 26-year-old senior, so I don't know what his eligibility really looks like, but 26 years old, I'd imagine he's getting out of there after this season. I could be wrong. But, there's a handful of young dudes behind them as well. We're going to get into their top 5 commits starting off with, you can see here, 4th ranked class in the country, 2nd ranked in the SEC, and starting off their list is a 5-star quarterback, Julian Sayin, 6'1", 195 from Carlsbad High School in Carlsbad, California. He's the 20th ranked player nationally, the 3rd ranked quarterback, and the 2nd ranked player in the state of California. He was the Elite 11 MVP, as well as a Polynesian Bowl roster selection. Last year, he threw for 2,300 yards at a 75% completion percentage with a 24-1 touchdown interception ratio. So, I mean, this guy's a beast. Great addition to the quarterback room, which, as we've seen year in, year out, they've just had some top caliber guys come through. I don't really need to get into a list when it comes to that. This guy right here is a 5-star athlete named Jalen Mbakwe, 5'11", 170 from Clay Chalkville High School in Pinson, Alabama. 28th ranked player nationally, 2nd ranked athlete, and the 4th ranked player in Alabama. He's ranked as an athlete, but he's listed as a cornerback. So, he also plays wide receiver. But Bama having him on the list and, 24/7 having him on the list as a cornerback points to, he's most likely going to be on the defensive side of the ball. But he's great on both sides and as a returner. He runs a 10.46, 100, and 21.71 in the 200, which, if you don't know track, he's fast as hell. All right. And he was also a selection to the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game roster. He's, number 2 player for Alabama, so you don't expect anything less. Next up, 4-star cornerback Zabian Brown, 6', 180 from Mater Dei in Santa Ana, California, 45th ranked nationally, 3rd ranked cornerback, and the 4th ranked player in California. He was an All-American Bowl roster selection as well as a Polynesian Bowl roster selection. And like I said, the DB room is losing multiple guys to the draft, so another great pickup in that room. Next up, 4-star tight end Caleb Odom, 6'5", 215 from Carleton High School in Carleton, Georgia. 53rd ranked player nationally, 3rd ranked player as a tight end, and the 7th ranked player in Georgia. He's a great receiver, but to be lining up in line as a blocker at the now Power 4 level, you can't be 215, and he doesn't really have that much experience doing it. He has mainly, lined up as an outside receiver, but we'll have to see, the Bama strength coaches put some mass on this guy before he's lining up next to a guard. Rounding out the top 5 players here is a 4-star D lineman, Jeremiah Beeman, 6'4", 265 from Parker High School in Birmingham, Alabama. He's the 93rd ranked player nationally, the 17th ranked D lineman, and the 8th ranked player in the state of Alabama. He was also an All-American Bowl roster selection, as well as an Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game roster selection. It's, every year Bama has great recruiting. You can't put your money on anybody having more recruiting success long-term than Nick Saban. That's really, set in stone at this point as, the greatest college coach of all time. And recruiting is a big reason for that. 9 commits from Alabama for Alabama are from the state of Alabama. 3 out of the top 11 players in the state are committed to Alabama, and they're in a recruiting battle with Auburn, Arkansas, and Clemson for the 7th ranked player in Alabama and 4-star Bradley Shaw. So typically with, basically any other school only having 3, guys in the top 10 when, you're trying to be competitive or whatever in the SEC, that'd be alarming from your home state. This is Alabama. All right. So I understand that they're picking and choosing the top guys from each state. And just because they have, heavily emphasized the later guys in there, their 3 stars are from Bama. That's just depth added to the roster. Their stars are handpicked from everywhere else in the country. So normally it'd be a red flag for me. It's Nick Saban. It's Alabama. I'm not even going to go there. They have 3 commits from California, like I said, the 2nd, the 4th, and the 21st ranked player from Cali, which if you have any knowledge on, the recruiting trail at all. You know, California is a top 3, top 4 state in the country when it comes to depth in recruits. The defensive positions I mentioned earlier that are losing guys in, the D-line, linebacker, and DB room, they have 3 D-line commits. They have 3 linebacker commits, and they have 5 DB commits that have already signed, as well as a couple athletes that could play at both spots. So we don't know if there's going to be more added to that, as well as the transfer portal opening yesterday. So, or excuse me, 2 days ago. So, Bama is definitely going to be active there. They'll fill their, the spots that they feel like they need to fill immediately to get back to not being on the outside of the college football playoff. Obviously, next year, 12 teams. Bama will absolutely be in that top 12. That's all I have for the Bama recruiting trail episode. Lambo, if you have any comments, being a semi-Bama fan over there, you got it.
No, I have no comments. I think you have all your facts presented. Everything's correct. We'll see what Alabama does in the future. Like I said, they play Georgia on Saturday. We'll see how this goes. I want to name one player to also watch out for, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. He's a son of a former NFL player as a cornerback. I can't remember his first name right now, but the Kirkpatricks. I think he will do something special. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to start next year or not, but just when you mentioned the depth of the DBs and all that stuff, I think he will be a primary factor whether he doesn't play to midseason, whether he starts or not. You know how Nick Saban kind of is with the starters and whatnot. But I think my key evaluation or a key player that might be pop up pretty quick could be Dre Kirkpatrick. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. You did a phenomenal job.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, if you have any issues with the rankings, you can take it up with 24/7 Sports. Don't take it up with me. I'm the messenger. All right. So thank everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time. We've got the next video, which will be Auburn, the Iron Bowl rivalry. They are next up in the next 5 minutes.